We were here today to support the Public Transportation Authority. We believe very strongly that transportation is key for everyone, and in particular for people with disabilities. So we are here advocating to ensure that public transportation be fully accessible to people with disabilities, but very specifically we're here to support a bill that we have drafted and have had introduced that calls for a percentage of taxis, limousines, and shuttle services to be wheelchair accessible. The big thing with transit, obviously, is as you can figure, we all need transportation to get from one place to another. And in this country, most of us do that via our own individual cars, because we're very car-oriented. And because of that, unfortunately, our transportation system is sort of set up in that way. That is, that you have these large areas that there is no public transportation whatsoever. There are many people with disabilities living in areas where there's no public transportation. They have no way of getting out of their homes. And now that we're trying to, now when I say now, meaning because of federal laws, trying to get people with disabilities to live in the community, not to mention that it's also cheaper for the government to have people living in the community as opposed to living in institutions. And if we don't have accessible transportation, both public and private, all we're going to do is move people from big institutions to their home, becoming little institutions of which they're not going to be able to escape. The only downside, obviously, is always going to be whatever the cost is going to be to whoever provides that service. That's always the issue that comes up, how much is it going to cost. Fortunately, as things happen in time, the technology has gotten easier to do, therefore modifying vehicles has become a lot easier and cheaper to do, and there are some companies now that are manufacturing vehicles that are wheelchair equipped right out of the factory, which is going to bring down the cost of the vehicles even more so. Not to mention that there are tax programs both at the federal level and at the state level to help taxi companies or anybody that makes their vehicles wheelchair accessible that has a business. So therefore, with the tax credit and deductions you have from the federal government and the state of New York, taxi companies or any company will be able to purchase a new vehicle, wheelchair accessible vehicle, for less money than they would buy a regular vehicle.